Hey friends, I am going to share with you some Ask a Coach questions and answers that I gave recently to a few different folks that had some pretty unique situations, but I thought that you might be interested in their answers. The first couple had baby number 4 on the way. Actually, ironically, both couples had baby number 4 on the way soon. So interesting tidbit. But this first couple had no debt except for some IRS payments that they owed. They were making minimum payments to that, but they didn't have any auto loan debt, no credit cards, no student loans. They had paid off all of their other debt. But they also had a expense coming up over the next couple years, a pretty critical health expense. Her husband needed a transplant of some kind in the next 2 years, and they knew that they were going to have to pay some money out of pocket for that. So she was feeling especially nervous about what to do next. Like, they wanted to pay back their IRS payment, but they also knew that they were going to have this big expense in a couple of years that was obviously critical to the health and the wellness for their family. And she asked what I would do. What should I do next? Should I just pay off this IRS debt and then hope that this other one isn't very much money, or what to do? So we got on the phone and we chatted for, 15, 20 minutes and made a plan to talk again, just more about the particulars within their budget and their situation. But ultimately, what I ended up advising her to do was to continue to make minimum payments to the IRS debt that they had, and find out how much the expense was going to be for the medical procedure. Call the healthcare organization that he was going to get the procedure with, find out how much the estimated out-of-pocket was going to be for their family, and then project out that cost for the next 2 years. So say that it was, let's do easy math, right? I'm into that. $24,000 that was going to be out of pocket for that family. So I advised her to do $1,000 set aside in a medical savings fund per month for that procedure. And then anything extra that they had, by all means, they could throw it at that IRS debt also. But obviously taking care of that health concern was really important to her, and to make sure that they were safe for their family overall. She said also, we had this fun conversation about minivans. Her family was pressuring her because of, baby number 4 to get a minivan. They have, I think I don't know the right technical term with the trucks, like a crew cab, I think. It had 6 seats, between the first row and the second row. And so she said, it's plenty of room for our family, for our immediate family, but my, the in-laws or parents or whatever were saying, oh, you need to get a minivan, or you need to get something bigger. But she said, I really don't want to have a car payment right now. And I was like, yeah, tell them to mind their own business. It's your payment. It's your finances. Don't let anybody boss you around. So we had a good laugh about that. And she's got a good plan moving forward with how to handle the IRS, and then also the medical expense moving forward. So that was good. It was a really good conversation, and I'm hopeful for their family moving forward. Second question. Also, like I said, 4th baby on the way. I think maybe in the fall, this family. But this gentleman has opened a new business. He's been in the business for a little while and was doing it kind of as a side hustle, and then finally flipped the switch in the last 6 months or so to work full-time for himself. And then COVID hit. And so he's feeling the pressure of making sure that his business can sustain his family budget, and trying to figure out how to establish what he needs in his emergency fund and whether or not he should get another job. So we talked at length. We actually scheduled a consult call so I could kind of get into the numbers a little bit more with him and find out where the rub was and what the budget looked like. And they had kind of a core budget that would sustain them. And then he had his ideal budget, what he really wanted to bring home each month from his business. And so we talked about that, and he just really didn't feel like his business was going to be able to sustain that right now. But it's obviously still a passion point for him. But he wants to make sure his family's taken care of. So he talked about wanting to get a part-time job. He'd already had a couple of interviews lined up. So we talked about how much he would ideally want to make from that job, working part-time, in order to handle his primary income for his family, like their core budget amount, and then to just take a small profit sharing from his business to get him to that secondary amount, like the amount that he really wanted to have in his budget. So we kind of had two goals there. Get the part-time job to sustain your budget, still hustle, right, on the side with your business. Give yourself about $1,000 per month for your optimum budget, and then start an emergency savings for your business. So this really blew his mind. He was like, whoa, why didn't I think about that before? But having an emergency savings in your business account for 3 to 6 months worth of expenses helps to alleviate some crisis like this. Personally, I'm super grateful that my husband has that in his business because that's part of what's paying his income right now into our household budget. So anyway, I thought those were kind of interesting stories to share that I've had recently and been able to answer. You don't even have to ask a coach through the Ramey program. You can just message me directly. Just hit me up and ask me a question, and I will be happy to provide some insight into your situation as well. I hope that you're having a beautiful Sunday.